You know, mindful practices are not about reaching some end goal. It's about being calm and slow and experimenting, seeing what could be possible. It's about color or maybe just black and white if you want to do that. But right now, what you're seeing on screen is me playing with those 6 colors I have pre-selected. And I've been working with these colors since the beginning of this year. And I'm drawing with them, presenting classes with them, adding layers like the one in the background that you see below the piece of paper I'm busy with. I even layered in some color over some um, ballpoint pen drawings. So the reason why I want you to practice and play with a few colors is so that you don't get distracted by the other colors or get overwhelmed by maybe thinking that you need to do or make better art because you have all these supplies at hand. The whole secret is to be less bothered by all the correct things you should be doing and a little bit more concerned with not being concerned. It's that playful laying down of color, slowing down, and gradually adding the layers and layers of things that just look acceptable. They don't have to be perfect, they don't have to be pristine, you don't have to color inside the lines. But you do need to give yourself some grace in these moments so that you don't get into your own head and start judging what you are playing with. These are mindful sketchbook practices for a reason. It's to help you become more still, more quiet, and more focused on the process and tapping into those feelings that you feel while you are creating. Sometimes asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel like I need to make this better? What is it inside of me that's compelling me or pushing me to think that this isn't okay, that this couldn't live inside a sketchbook? Listen, we are not making perfect art here. And if for some reason you think the things that you've seen on my channel are better than the things you've been doing, please get that out of your mind. I have hundreds of pages of things that just don't look that good. Not to me, at least. But I did get better because I stuck to it, because I kept on trying, because I didn't give in to that inner critic who is constantly talking in the back of our minds. Now, this video is just a small part of a much larger video that is available inside the Self Mastery membership. Now, the whole membership name is The Creative's Way to Mindful Self Mastery, but we just refer to it as Self Mastery. And if you want to follow along on our little monthly journeys, in other words, join the mini membership, that is open to you at any time. And the full membership is also available. But if you are uncertain of what to expect in there, why not just journey with us this month and get into all the action and the creativity and the playfulness and the wonderful practices we do according to our theme. I would want nothing more than for your mind to relax and become easy. Not just because life itself is throwing all kinds of curveballs, but because you owe it to yourself to do something that you enjoy. Not many of us enjoy our jobs. And if you are finding yourself coming home feeling overworked and stressed, then these mindful creative practices are exactly what you need. And I want you to remember that you can start anywhere. Even making marks is going to help your brain settle down after a hard day at work. Now, I'm doing a voiceover, as you can tell, because Conrad and I, for some reason, woke up at 2:42. I have no idea why that specific time, but it wasn't a wake up feeling restless and having that notion that we can't sleep. It was literally being wide awake as if we've had a full night's rest. So I think that was a way for us to do something or to just be awake together, or I have no idea why. But the first thing I did was grab my coloring pencils, maybe as a little warm up. I had no rhyme or reason for what I was scribbling here. I've already tested these colors, I've already worked with them for a couple of months. But here are 5 reasons why you might want to work with coloring pencils, especially when you are using them for mindful practices. First, they are really, really easy to find. You don't have to have faber-castell or polychromos or luminance or whatever other Derwent fancy pencils there are. They are easy to start with and they'll be at hand close by. And if you do not have children, maybe you have a pencil case from when you were in school that you could pick up from and start with. Secondly, they layer fairly good on top of anything. Now, whether you've had old watercolor pieces or sketches or coloring books or whatever is already on a page or that you want to complement or add to, your coloring pencils is perfect for that because they layer so well. Then they also help you to slow down, and this is probably my favorite reason to work with coloring pencils is because they help you to slow down. We must stop rushing to get to the end or to finish something, especially since mindful practices are supposed to be slow, steady practices that help the mind almost switch off to the point where you don't have to overthink your next step, but that next pencil stroke or mark almost follows intuitively. Then the fourth reason is that it will remind you of your childhood coloring. Now, I don't know if you ever got into trouble or if you merely had not so many opportunities to color in. The big idea here is that coloring plays in to your childhood memories. And when you can pick up a pencil and remind your own brain that you are busy with playful activities, then coloring pencils are your go to tools for mindful practices. Now, I've mentioned this in some of the previous ones, and that is that coloring pencils entice playful creativity. Now, your coloring pencils will hold the secret to your unwinding, and whatever way you prefer to use them is exactly right and will be the way you are trained, the way that your brain works. And there's nothing wrong with any of those methods.